Structure deck review. Now, this is not an EX structure, so this is guys you want to take a note of. So the price probably won't be as high. Probably $3.99 for the first and like $6 for extras. Extra copies of it, or $4.99, whatever it's going to be. Let's talk about Structure Deck Hero Generation, and we'll go over the cards and I'll tell you what I think of them and what it's going to be in the Hero deck. What do I think it's going to be made? Because I think there's two different builds you're going to want to play right now. First card is Masked Hero Koga. Now, I remember this card. I played this card in the TCG. It was not the most powerful Masked Hero. Actually, the most powerful one was actually Dark Lore. We don't have Dark Lore. Thank God we don't, because it would break the game. But Masked Hero Koga, here it is, and here we go. Must be special summon with mass change, blah, 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 blah. Get special other ways. This card gains 500 attack for each monster your opponent controls. Once per turn, during your either play's turn, banish one hero monster from your graveyard, then target one face-up monster on the field. That target loses attack equal to the attack of the monster banished to activate this effect until the end of the turn. So it's a light level 8. We don't really have too many light heroes in the game. Neos, Brave Neos, those are going to be the main cards you want to use this with. Form Change is also really good for the standard hero deck. They could easily get this on the field. Maybe they run a Voltic. Voltic could also be an option, right? So these are a few ones. I don't know if people are going to really go out there and play Sparkman, but we'll see. But these are definitely some options. So right away, when your opponent has one monster, it's 3,000 attack. If they have two, 3,500, 4,000. If they have three monsters, this card can potentially one-shot your opponent. So if you open up Form Change and they go Vision Hero Trinity, then one Form Change could kill your opponent. So that's something you definitely want to look at, because Trinity is a level 8, or Dark Lore. I mean, not a Dark Lore, an Anki, or Trinity. You can easily Form Change this out and easily kill your opponent. If they want to attack Voltic, Voltic is another way to potentially summon this boy out. So, definitely a good beat stick for heroes. And the damage step effect is very nice, because you can use that against Dark Magician as well. If they want to use Dark Magic Expanded to try to swing over your Anki, now you have an option to go into Koga instead. And Koga will allow you to damage step, reduce the attack of their monster, and then their expanded becomes useless. So that's a really good way to counter Dark Magician. Yeah, that's a good way to counter Dark Magician. So keep in mind of that. Alright, the next card I want to talk about is Favorite Hero. This card I think is absolutely fantastic. Equipped to only a level 5 or higher hero monster. If you control a card in your field zone, the equipped monster gains attack equal to its original defense. Also, your opponent cannot target it with card effects. At the start of the battle phase, you can activate one field spell directly from your deck. You can only use this effect of Favorite Hero once per turn. When the equipped monster attacks, it destroys an opponent's monster by battle. You can send this card to the graveyard. The attacking monster can take a second attack in a row. So this card is really, really good. I don't think it's gimmicky, and I don't think it's that bricky. Let me explain why. First of all, you have multiple uses for this card. If you're playing the traditional heroes with Ferris, Increase, Malicious, Dark Heroes, then you could easily equip this onto a Ferris. So Ferris, being 16, 18, would go up to 3,200 attack, which is pretty viable in the meta. Getting that 3,200 beat stick can swing over a lot of different things. Also, being able to get a field spell right out of the deck. They wouldn't have to worry about, potentially you cucking them as much. Cucking their fusion, and the fusion being the only thing you could equip this on. You can get a Necro Valley. Now, Necro Valley may not be the field spell of choice, because heroes can kind of cuck themselves with Necro Valley. However, still getting this thing on the field, getting a Necro Valley in the field could definitely improve the matchups against Crystron and Crystron and Shiranui. So those are two decks that heavily rely on the graveyard. Another deck, a field spell choice could be, what's that card? Could be Summon Limit. So the field spell, Summon Breaker, excuse me. Summon Breaker, which could allow your opponent to limit up to 3 summons per turn. So that means, if you play Summon Breaker, let me get this out. Your opponent goes, they're playing Crystron. They want to summon 3 times into a Gandrat. So they have an Amatrix on the field. They have Amatrix your Ferris to defense. Well, it wouldn't be turn 2. Let's say turn 2, they Amatrix your Ferris or your Adoration to defense. Then your opponent goes, they try to summon Smiger, that's 1. They pop Amatrix to summon the Tuna, that's 2. And then the Tuna they summon off of Amatrix is 3. So that means that they go to the end of the turn and they can't query on you. So that takes a big threat out of Crystron's out of the game. So that means they have to beat you with SSA. That's the only way to beat you. Other than that, if they can't beat you with SSA, they're going to really struggle there. Also, Necro Valley really hurting the Crystron deck. Remember that if you go into Necro Valley, then they don't have the option to go and summon Soul from the grave, banish their Vern, banish their Smiger. Also, being able to activate SSA for Umi from the graveyard, they can't do that because cards from the graveyard cannot be moved into different places. So that is an option for the current Dark Heroes that are in the game. So it's something you definitely want to look into, maybe playing. So that's an option. This could also be played in the Neos deck because Braid Neos with the field spell will go up to 5,000 attack. So that is really, really dangerous for your opponent because you have a 5,000 cannot be targeted. So that's going to be hard for your opponent to deal with. So that's something you definitely want to look into. Also being able to activate the field spell from the deck and getting that potential double attack. So that could make for a really good boss monster. Now, if going back to the Dark Heroes for a second, this could be really used well with something like Adoration, right? So if you have Adoration is naturally 2,800 attack, right? So if you equip this onto Adoration goes up to 4,900 because there's 2,100 defense. So 4,900 defense, 4,900 attack, not defense, excuse me. 4,900 attack, and if it attacks, you potentially could go lethal through them, and with you, especially with using its effect. So Adoration, if you control another hero, you could target that hero, and your opponent will lose its attack on their monster equal to the same amount. So if you have Adoration out with an Anki, then you can make them lose 2,800 attack, or Ferris 1,600 attack, and then your Adoration at 4,900 can potentially lethal your opponent right through that. So that's a great way to deal with them, being able to OTK your opponent. So that's something really good that you want to take note of. So Adoration can be a very dangerous card now with Favorite Hero. So I really like this card a lot. The problem is where they're going to fit in Dark Heroes. I think that they could take out Cosmic or replace the space where their Econs were. So they may be able to fit in 1 to 2 copies of this card. I think that will be very fruitious for them. There's no way to really search it, but 2 copies, if they draw it, then they draw it, and it can be really good to out certain matchups. Next card is Generation Next. If your life points are lower than your opponent's, add to your hand or special summon 1 element of Era Monster, Creep a Monster, or Neospatian from your deck or graveyard with an attack less than equal to the defense difference in life points. Also, for the rest of the turn, your opponent you cannot activate cards or effects with the same name as this card. You can only activate 1 Generation Next once per turn. Okay, this card is nothing more than a gimmick in my opinion. Its main use in Heroes would be to get a mass change target since you can't activate Stratos' effect. So that you summon Stratos, can activate cards with the effects with the same name. So no Stratos. This can be used in a stall deck because people are going to use this like Flute to summon the Karibo. They just tutor Karibos out and just be annoying. That's all I really see this being used for. Again, if you summon a Wing Karibo on their turn, they can't activate the Wing Karibo's effect. You can't activate Wing Karibo's effect. So keep that in mind, or Kuribo that you search. So, not good. In my opinion, gimmicky at best. Hero Blast. Target one elemental hero normal monster in your graveyard. Add that target to your hand. Then if your opponent controls any monsters with less or equal to the attack, target's attack, destroy one of them. This was used in Hero Beat. Hero Beat was a deck that was used in the TCG top tier when we had multiple Stratos and Neos Alias. Do I think this card's good? I think it's very good. Especially if you use this with a Neos control deck. Because you being able to use Neos Fusion to dump this in the grave, this doesn't target either, so you can blow up a monster without targeting. And you can get that Neos back to the hand for another Neos Fusion play. Also, this can target any normal monster, so at Fusion time, maybe that's the way you can make your way through it. But other than that, this is a very good Neos. And Neos decks, this is a very good control card. What can you get rid of? You get rid of Crystron Tuners because it doesn't target. So remember, Impact cannot play around this. You get rid of Shiranui Tuners. You could pop a Molihue. You could pop a reduced attack Purgatrio. You could pop Black Wings before they synchro. So this could be very, very good against some of the meta that is out there, especially if you go turn 1. Turn 2 against Shiro, this card's not going to be that great because they're going to be able to go into Sun Saga, and then you're going to be really able to not really be able to use this card too much because you won't be able to target Sun. You won't be able to hit Sun Saga to begin with. Also, the other problem with Shiro is Archfiend Zombie Skull. But if you stop their plays early, to interrupt plays early, this could be very effective. So yeah, I can definitely see this as a 2 or 3 of an Neos control deck. Overall, I do see this. The best card in here, I think, is Koga and favorite hero. Hero Blast is right there. Generation Next is a gimmick. I hope they reprint Mass Change in here. That's what I'm hoping for. But other than that, if you haven't followed me on Twitch, you want to see my live streams, make sure you follow there. We are currently in the process of climbing with a free-to-play ninja deck. So if you want to see that climb, make sure you follow me on Twitch. Also, we will be playing Heroes at some point. So you make sure you follow me on Twitch if you want to see me play some different styles of hero decks. So definitely do that. And future KOG Climbs, as well as KC Grand Championship Grand Tournament Climbs. Make sure you are followed on Twitch and for future tournaments as well. Also subscribe on YouTube and turn on that notification bell. This is Short Matra signing out.